Welcome back, everyone. This is Akinar here with more Talos Principle 2, where last time we completed the southern coast and were introduced to the teleporter mechanic. What a great mechanic and what a great area. Just an awesome layout. The puzzle designs were incredible. The aesthetic and the creativity in each of the puzzle rooms. I just love this level. It wasn't overly expansive. It was so much fun to explore. It felt like there was always something hidden around every corner, and I'm excited to see what's gonna be next. We also learned a little bit more to the story. We got a little bit more regarding, or from the Sphinx regarding Prometheus. Prometheus is apparently the only one who can help us. We've got to free Prometheus in order to free Byron, because Prometheus is trapped within the heart of the mountain. And that, of course, brings to mind what we've been seeing the entire time that we've been playing. The pause screen and also the title screen. And now when I think about it, it looks like maybe they've been just foreshadowing this from the very beginning, because these walls, columns, floors, all this does feel very much like we're inside the megastructure. So it's kind of crazy to think that there's this giant statue that's waiting for us somewhere inside. But of course we have the particle clouds, which can make anything. They can make anything appear out of thin air. So who the hell knows? But we're gonna find all that out in due time. For now, we're just gonna keep going like we've been doing the whole time and just keep on solving puzzles. I'm so excited to check out the next area here. We have South 2. It does let us go to South 3 as well, but we'll keep going in order here and check out the Verdant Canyon, a canyon-like formation in the dry, rocky southern region of the island. Its completely enclosed shape suggests it is artificial rather than glacial in origin. Interested to see what that is all about. Let's check it out here.
I always kind of resented Byron for being so charming and charismatic. The dashing explorer, and one of the first companions, too. Being the voice of caution is not a fun role to play. Always having to be the responsible one, the killjoy. The one who says, maybe that's too much. But sometimes it is too much.
It's not your fault, Al.
Someone's got to be Alcatraz. Someone's got to do that job. Here we go. This one's kind of just floating in the air. Whoa. Have we had that before? All the others have been kind of anchored in the ground, haven't they? In some way, even the spiky protein. Spiky protein. Spiky tower.
Have an especially weird problem. Something in one of the labs is going completely bananas and I can't shut it down because I'm not, well, you. Come find me when you're ready. What is it with the language libraries and bananas?
Melville will be constantly bombarded and confounded by the language libraries. Another pretty cool looking area. This definitely looks like it's a good thing Jacques is not here, because the alien theories would just be instantly confirmed, because boy oh boy does this feel like some sort of a mothership. How in the hell is this thing? It's just levitating. It's just floating in the air, don't mind me. That's some pretty powerful anti-gravity. That must be what's keeping it afloat. Just that one little beam there. All right, we've got another new area to check out here. Look at this. This is a whole structure in this puzzle. We've got the Prometheus statue over here. Boy, these structures are really... They have almost, I don't know. It has a very, like, futuristic, almost military base style feel to that structure. Looks like there's an audio log down here that we'll get to eventually. Yeah, very much more of a canyon, Grand Canyon kind of feel here, as opposed to the desert island feel of the last level. Okay, let's get into it and check out puzzle number 1 here. Mountaineer. What do we got going on? Look at this. We have the flooring. Okay, so that's why these have more of a... you know, the structures are more, I don't know, polygonal, because they do have the anti-gravity flooring, which is great. I am glad that they are bringing that out into the puzzles here. I can't wait to see how this is going to be implemented. So we only have one option here, it looks like. We have to start climbing the walls. Climbing the walls of our puzzles. And then there is just an anti-gravity beam inside of the puzzle, which gets us to walk on the ceiling. Cool. So you don't necessarily have to... You don't need to have like one wall that gets you to the ceiling. You can have the anti-grav elevator. So I like this. Now, it is going to start maybe being making me a little dizzy at the same time. What happens if I jump? Now that we're in a little less... Okay, we had the opportunity to do this in the megastructure, but I passed up on it just because I didn't want to die and have to reload the area. But it does appear that we can actually double jump in order to get back to the floor. Cool. Okay, so that is... I'm glad they have that built in, because obviously it looks like we wouldn't be able to do anything if we couldn't get off the ceiling, because the ceiling doesn't connect to anything else on the other side of the fence here. I'm also seeing what appears to be an anti-gravity. Is this what's generating this field? Let's check it out. This is very cool. This is... What is this? Gravshifter. Look at the design on this. This is very... This looks awesome. It's basically a jammer, but it's, you know, on the body, but then this whole thing here just looks insane. Like the lasers are about to drill into your skull. Okay, so we can potentially... Oh, we have to connect it to the flooring. Because I was like, okay, there's no beam. I can't just put this wherever I want, because you have to actually aim at the anti-gravity flooring. It doesn't exist without the anti-gravity, or the... it's anti-gravity flooring is what it's called, right? Okay, now do we want to take this somewhere? I assume so, because look at that. We can even put it on the walls. Now, oh shit. Okay, so I was wondering what this icon was that I was seeing here. It's a connector, but the connector is actually over here. So if I place this on the wall, it actually grabs the connector. Whoa. Okay, this is gonna get fun. It's already getting fun. I can only imagine how crazy. Whoa, that just keeps going, doesn't it? Does that have an infinite range on it just until it runs into a wall? Whoa, okay, I'm thinking about all the potential ways that you could use this mechanic, and I can't wait to see what the other puzzles are gonna be like. So we have a connector now. If I take this away, it's gonna stay connected to the wall. But that is so... Huh. You can just vacuum up pieces of equipment. Okay, let's try to shift over into solving the puzzle mode, because it's so easy to get stuck in experimentation and labbing mode. We just want to activate the pressure plate here now, right? Because now we just go up the wall and we grab our connector and take it down with us. Cool. And now we're not at the goal yet because we need to activate this blue beam, but we don't have line of sight. I presume it's because we need to take it back over here and put it in a place where we do have line of sight. And of course our UI can help us with that. I guess the UI, oh, I can't place it up here. The UI was kind of graying out the receiver, but that's because, well, maybe it's because I don't have line of sight. Oh, I think it is because I have this ledge that's in the way. So we do need to, there's two problems. I can't put this here because there's actually no anti-gravity flooring, but also it was out of line of sight. So we just throw it here. It sticks to the wall, and we have our way into the progress wheel. Wow. This area is going to be fun too. Another new mechanic. We sort of had a preview. They put...
The language of creation is a kind of melody. Maybe that's why we respond to music the way we do. Because we recognize something that can't be expressed in any other way. And when we play music, we participate in something ancient, in an act of creation.
But yeah, we had a preview inside of the megastructure of this mechanic. Here's a spark. I'll take it. Not going to use it, but I'll take it. So it's not like a 100% brand new mechanic, but it's still another new area of puzzles that is using a mechanic that the previous areas did not. I mean, at this point, I have no reason to doubt that they're not going to have a brand new mechanic literally in every single area of the game, which is kind of mind-blowing and really honestly impressive.
Come on, out with it. What's the problem?
I know you're very busy, but
Ooh,
you need to pay more attention to what's happening.
Byron is in on this
Everything's slowing
one.
down. People are losing track of the bigger picture.
They're still traumatized by New Alexandria.
It's more than that. When I organized the last expedition, I had real trouble finding volunteers. There's no enthusiasm for the outside world anymore. They want to look away from history, pretend there's no past and no future. I'm really worried, Athena.
Okay, I promise I'll look into it as soon as I'm done with this.
So that, I think, was actually a conversation from the past. At first, I thought it might be some conversation that's going on right now, that Byron is having these conversations with Athena while being trapped inside of the megastructure and whatever data stream that he's still hooked into. But this looks like this was one of these things that happened, you know, around the time of New Alexandria, right? That people were still traumatized by what had happened, the deaths. It's really funny that Byron has had the same message and the same yearnings and worries even way back then that he does now. Nobody wants to go out and explore nearly as much as he does. All right, on to puzzle number 2. Let's take a look at Spiderweb. They're giving us a Gravshifter right off the bat here. Where is our anti-gravity flooring though? Here it is, up here. Okay, so we could point it over this way. There's no anti-grav flooring that way though. We could also point it up here. It looks like maybe, but there is a fan. There is a fan. So, okay, what else is there to find? There is a blue receiver over here and the progress wheel. So there's also a blue source over here on the wall. It looks like in order to get in this area, we need to, yeah, the fan is actually lined up perfectly with the anti-grav flooring. So I think we want to position the Gravshifter here so it is creating, what are we going to call these? An anti-grav tunnel? A Gravshifter. It's a Gravshifter, so it's a shifter tunnel. I don't know. We'll figure out the naming here eventually. But either way, this tunnel lines up with the fan and allows us to. It doesn't give us the option to, like we have with the anti-gravity at the end with the towers. It doesn't give us the option to ride it. It just sort of does it automatically, which is fine. That's what we wanted to do. And then we just disengage from the gravity surface. Right? Now, we can't climb. We have to drop the connector first. I needed to do this a little bit differently. I needed to bring the connector to the anti-gravity flooring first. I thought it was just sufficient for me to get inside of this little area. In fact, I have to do one thing first, and I'm assuming that this is going to, well, no, it doesn't work through the fencing, but it doesn't have to. We just need it to work right here because it highlights the connector. Okay, I take it back. We did have to go in there first because the connector was not here, right? We had to place the connector here, I think. Either way, the connector, it kind of locks into place there when it actually is going to draw the connector to the flooring, which is great. So now the connector is there, and now we can just do what we did before. Place the Gravshifter back here. Does it matter? It doesn't matter if it's on. It just needs to be lined up with the fan and on the plate activating the fan at the same time. And then once we're here, now we can actually, this is an interesting problem here, is it not? because I can take the connector with me, but I actually do not simply go back. How do I do this here? I assume we're not just jumping out of the fencing, right? No. Okay. I need to put a little more thought into this. I thought this was just kind of a solution that was going to automatically present itself. I feel like I probably did the right thing. Oh, I can probably reverse. Let's experiment more with the Gravshifter. I need to understand a little bit more exactly where the direction of this thing. So we start. Where exactly is this directing itself? If I connect it to, it's going to draw things in the direction of the flooring, obviously, like it does with the connector here. So then, if I now it's connected to the ceiling, so to speak, but I can also connect it here. Okay. Now what? Because now, is there some flooring elsewhere that I am failing to notice? Feels like that might be the case. Because what is the next step here? How do I actually get back with the connector? Because the tunnel here, or this anti-gravity beam, it's only one direction, correct? I can't. Once I'm drawn to this side, I can take the connector, but I can't travel back, can I? I'm trying to jump right now, but it's not moving me. Let's see. Let me get lined up with the correct surface here. So now I'm on the wall. And me jumping, yeah, the beam only goes in one direction. And it's a little awkward for me to try to separate myself from it because it has its own gravitational pull or whatever. Okay. We've had a few of these puzzles where they feel like they should be very straightforward, and yet there is some key concept that I am failing to grasp. But that is part of learning a new mechanic, right? Part of learning a new mechanic is just wrapping your head around how everything works. Because we need to get, I am being a dingus. I think that's the problem here, is because I was trying to figure out how to get the connector outside of these walls. We don't have to do that because we have line of sight to both the source and and the receiver at the very end. My goodness, okay. My overcomplicating brain. I seriously was thinking that I needed to get the connector out. Asking too much. Requiring too much when the puzzle is not asking for that. Sometimes it's not about learning new mechanics. It's just about learning to shut off the overcomplicating part of your brain. Easy, no struggles whatsoever. Professional puzzle solver at work here. New interface content. Head outside and we'll hang out with all our dragonfly friends here as we check the research. Melville and gravity manipulation. Athena's technology can alter and reverse gravity. We've seen multiple cases of anti-gravity on the island. The potential industrial applications of this technology are staggering. So many of the challenges we face when trying to build involve gravity, moving things, lifting things, keeping things steady. One could say that a significant part of human history has just been a long struggle with gravity. That's not a bad point. With anti-gravity, all these processes would become simpler and safer. A victory for humankind, as Byron would undoubtedly say. It feels like that's basically the entirety of this island. All of the technologies, whether it's cloning, whether it's the anti-gravity or the particle clouds, the teleporter, all of these things feel like they just make the normal challenges of life absolutely trivial. Ooh, what's this over here? What is this over here? We have another Pandora monument. And I'm going to assume, well, let me take a closer look. Because I can't actually see yet. Ooh, wait a second. This is different. This is different, isn't it? Unless I'm getting a weird graphical thing. But I don't see a green connector here. I'm worried that maybe things haven't loaded incorrectly, but because this symbol seems the same as before. All right, so I reloaded the game and it looks the same. There's no green receiver here. So what's up with that? Is this like you shoot any beam at it? Can we even shoot a beam at it? We're gonna do a little quick testing here with our Pandora monument because it feels like we might have a different kind of challenge. So I'm gonna look and see. Oh, it's not the Gravshifter. Does that factor into this? No, we can't even see that from here. Okay. All right, I'm not sure what to do about the Pandora monument, but for now, let me look at the title again here. We'll check out Question Block since we are here on this side of the island. Let's check out the Lost Puzzle here. It might be a little risky taking on a Lost Puzzle this early in the level, but we'll see if we can figure out whatever Gravshifter mechanics that we need. So it looks like we've got two sections of anti-grav flooring that allow us to pull a box from one side to the other. We could bring the box over here. And we could also take it back to the other side. We have a purple barrier. Do we have the ability to jump to this box? We also have on this side a fan that looks like it maybe doesn't intersect, or it's not like perfectly lined up with this piece of anti-grav flooring over here, but it might, whatever tunnel we create, like if I did this right here, I could create the anti-grav tunnel as well as activate the fan, and then this thing probably, actually it doesn't, the fan is not powerful enough to get me up into here, which suggests that I need a box. I need to stand on the box. Oh, this is anti-grav flooring here, isn't it? So I can actually bring the box here and then bring it here, and then I can stand on it. And maybe that's good enough. So I need to draw the box to this piece of this section of flooring, and then we draw it down here. Cool. And then I can just take it out, place it over here. Now we should have what we need, or at least what we need. Well, I forgot I need to stand on the box, don't I? So I don't know that I can, like I could place this here, but I can't. I need to be able to activate. Can I do like I do with connectors, where if I right click? No, I can't like keep the connection, so to speak, to this section of anti-grav flooring. As soon as I pick up, it's like a jammer. I think the jammer works the same way, and the driller as well, where those don't have like a memory of what they are connected to. So, so then how do I do this? Because I need to be able to get on that box, don't I? Maybe not. I think actually I don't want to stand on the box. I just want to hold the box. Because what I want to actually do is put the box into the gravity stream. I want to grav shift to the box, because will it let me do that? It's not letting me jump, and it's not letting me just, like, if I keep tilting, the box doesn't quite tilt up into the... There's got to be a way to do this. I thought that this was going to let me put this into... Can can I like... Did that work? That worked. I don't know if that's how you were supposed to do it. I feel like I kind of like... I did the old like soccer ball header with the box into the gravity stream. Okay, and apparently that's good enough because now we should be able to, assuming that I can shoot the grav stream through the purple force field, which I can take the box and set that here. And now I have the ability to bring the Gravshifter. I can put this here. I presume... So how do I do this? I want this eventually to be here, and I want to be in this. How do I do that? Because I could set... We've got this open now. Theoretically, we could also set the... We could set the Gravshifter onto the pressure plate. How do I eventually get myself, though, into this beam? Presumably, I need to be up on one of these sections of flooring. And then I jump from there? Can I jump from here? Not high enough. I don't think I am. Let me just try jumping straight toward it. No. Problem I'm having is how do I adjust the Gravshifter once I've... What could I do here? I could... Can I actually shift myself upward at all? There's no flooring that is on the ceiling. So I can only... If I position the gravity beam here, it only goes in one direction, right? This is a to the floor shifter. Maybe I was positioning that beam too high, actually. Maybe that's what I needed to do. Yeah, that's all it was. It was a simple mechanical thing. It gives you a lot of leeway in where you position the beam. You don't have to just put it in the center. It doesn't lock you into the center. My, what do you call it? I don't know how, if some of you are like this, but it feels cleaner or more elegant when you put the beam in the center, or it feels like maybe that's like the intended way to go. But it turns out that you maybe need to think about where you position that beam in terms of just jumping to it, because I think that's the solution. And it just, just like the previous one, turns out to be a lot simpler than I was trying to make it at first. So we've got to be very, very cautious about overcomplicating these, but we'll take the win on the Lost Puzzle as we continue to get familiar here with graph shifting. And we got some more interface content. Let's check it out. Social media. Battery issues. Stolo366. Sorry to be a grump, but what's going on with our battery tech? I had my battery replaced just a couple years ago, and it's already constantly in need of recharging. I can't spend half my life in sleep mode. Is this really what we're coming to? Zagaran, this is exactly what we're coming to. Battery ingredients are rare. We can't scavenge further without building outposts. Herman shut down the mine project. What did everyone expect? Thekla, you should learn to live with less. Sleep mode is a great time to meditate and think about our place in the universe. Do you really need to be active all the time? Thekla really just is so great at convincing people of her point of view. Jeremy, let's not start a panic about a minor technical issue. Mistakes happen, Stolo. Please talk to Pellegrino or Neith about getting a replacement, which I'm sure will work a lot better. It is kind of interesting to think about whether or not sleep is as important to the robots as it is to us. I've been learning a lot recently about just how, like, everybody knows a good night's sleep is, an important thing, but it really is so much more important than I ever thought. And like, there's a whole entire science to it, which, if you're a robot, you probably don't have the same sort of requirements, but it's interesting to think about. Because who knows, with all the other things that they've inherited from us, maybe sleep is one of them. I'm also just noticing that there is a a chain of connectors. A chain of connectors that lead up here. Which presumably is part of solving the Pandora monument. Now, there was no... in the Lost puzzle, there were no connectors, correct? So this is going to be related to some other puzzle in the area. But that's a good thing to keep in mind. There is also... oh, there's a fan over here. Okay. How the hell do I even get up to that? Whoa. Okay, we've got a sequence of fans. Oh, this is fun. And there's an RGB converter up here. Okay. Huh. Is this all related to the Pandora? The Pandora monument? How the hell do I get to these? Is there a jump puzzle here? Or is there a path from around this side? That might be all it is. There's a path that starts over here. Okay, I like this. I like when you've got these little... they're not super hidden, but I did not see that there was a path over here. I wasn't thinking in terms of that until I saw the fans. So we can jump here, and then it takes us over here above this fan. And it looks like we can actually take this with us. This is actually a piece of equipment that we can just carry around as opposed to being set in one place. Let me look over here real quick. And I think that's all we are doing. We're just jumping onto this fan. And then up to the converter. Fascinating. Okay, well, we know where to find this now. I don't know exactly what to do with it yet, so I'm gonna leave it here just so I know where to go. And we'll keep looking around and try to piece together where this is gonna connect into things. But since we are right here, fortunately coming out right next to puzzle 3, let's go ahead and keep the puzzle action going with upward migration. This level is kind of, as I was hoping that we would have the anti-gravity flooring in the overworld, and sure enough, I've got my wish. I was also worried or thinking that it might feel a little disorienting at times, and that's definitely the case. When you are able to walk on walls and walk on ceilings, things can get a little crazy. But it's cool. We will adapt to our new circumstance. We have a connector here. And what are we trying to do with that connector? Here's our eventual goal, and we have a red connector behind a force field, or a red receiver behind a force field. There's another connector over here. And the red source was here. So I imagine that we want to be placing connectors, presumably one connector here, so it has line of sight to the red emitter. And then we would probably put the other connector over here, because I think that's the only one that has line of sight to the goal. Okay, I think what we want to do, the end state is clear. Now we just have to figure out the steps to get there. I think what we can do is we can simply put this in here, and then we can bring it to this. We want to line it up with the flooring this way. Maybe that wasn't necessary. We might have been able to just bring it over straight from... It might not have been necessary, but either way, we have it over here on this side. Now, I missed a step because I think I needed to connect that first. So I'm not sure if I screwed myself. I feel like I might have screwed myself because I only have the one. No, I have not screwed myself because I can bring this back over here. I can bring this back over here, and now I need to just put myself up here so I can take the connector. Okay, things were getting a little funky there. I guess because I tried to jump onto where the connector was. Let's just take the connector and get back to the bottom, question mark. That was weird. Was I actually standing on the regular wall for a moment? Things are getting funky here in Gravshift land. That's what I wanted to do, though. We just want to connect this one to the puzzle, or the progress wheel receiver. And then I didn't have to ride the beam myself. Just needed to place that down. And I think we can just bring that, yeah, we didn't even have to align it with the vertical wall. We just need to bring it over here so it is in line of sight and it keeps its connection to the goal. So I think we now just follow something similar with this other connector. Get it connected to you. And now just place it here. We need to do another step though. We need to connect it to this connector. So now it has the proper connections in place. And now we just bring it to where it has line of sight of the emitter. Okay, good. So taking advantage of the memory of connectors in order to place everything where it needs to go. That's a cool one. Starting to feel a little more comfortable now with Gravshifting.
I've known Byron since day one. I was the first to be born with upgrades from the original Soma design, and he was the first to volunteer to upgrade his existing body.
Yeah, he was a big supporter of upgrades. Deliberate evolution, he called it.
Athena and Cornelius were very kind to me. And so was Byron, but he also made fun of me. And oddly enough, that made me feel more like an equal than anything the others said.
All right, so here's the other end of that chain of connectors. And I'm wondering if we should just try to hook up something from puzzle 3. Just shoot a red beam over there, but maybe, I'm not sure if I have line of sight. Do I have line of sight? It's kind of behind the trees. It looks like I do have line of sight. So I can add in that connector. Well, I have line of sight from here. Will I have line of sight once I put this back where it is actually connected to the red emitter? That's the real question. It looks like maybe it is. I think we have a successful connection. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's the right color. I don't know if we wanted to be shooting red to this. Let's take another look here at puzzle 2. What was in puzzle 2? Was it a blue beam? It was a blue beam in here, wasn't it? So we have red in puzzle 3. We have blue in puzzle 2. And then we have an RGB converter. And then we have what looks like a strange Pandora monument, which I'm still not convinced whether I have a strange loading issue that I'm not seeing my green receiver here on the Pandora monument. If we're assuming that this acts like every other Pandora monument so far and that we need to shoot green to it, we can get red to this point, but wouldn't we... Maybe that's okay, because if we get red to that point, then... Well, the problem is we would also need blue. And where the hell do we get blue from? We didn't check over here yet. What's over here? I don't see any question marks on the compass. Maybe there's like an artifact over here. A washing machine. Is there a dryer to go with our washing machine? Oh my, there is some anti-gravity flooring here. No dryer, but lots of anti-grav flooring. Okay. Is this going to be the other part of our Pandora puzzle? Why is there anti-gravity flooring here? I can't reach this right now. I assume that I would need to shoot an anti-grav beam, or I would need to have a Gravshifter that can see this. So am I getting a Gravshifter out of a puzzle, or is there just one laying around? We'll keep pondering the Pandora mystery. For now, let's check out this palm reader that's out here. South from Miranda to Athena and Cornelius. Larger organisms from the northwestern plains are already moving into the rivers. I've seen frogs and dragonflies. The last generation of plants has really taken root, no pun intended, and is slowly transforming the desert. And yesterday, a bunch of seagulls showed up. With some more work, we could apply this anywhere, including Mars or Mercury, or somewhere much farther away. We could transform a lifeless rock into a place teeming with life. We could make millions of dead worlds come alive. Miranda. Right. Okay, I remember now that there was this talk about them doing terraforming and sort of adding life to this otherwise lifeless desert, which is a pretty cool concept. Irrationality. From Enlightenment on the Precipice by V.A. Malik. Human beings are deeply and inherently irrational, the claim goes, and on some level it's hard to disagree. The most human behaviors are irrational and, in a sense, unnecessary. As animals, we don't need to write poetry, pray, or observe the stars. But to view human history as largely irrational is to get it backwards. The problem with human history, the pragmatic everyday realities of mere survival to the cold logic of global realpolitik, is that it is in fact ruthlessly rational. Far too little space for irrational things like kindness or inspiration. Those who imagine that a return to a more rural, traditional form of living would be a romantic turning away from the tyranny of reason forget that there is no one more brutally rational than the farmer. It is the city that allows us the romance of the countryside. It is technology that allows us to appreciate nature. The purpose of reason ultimately is to build frameworks within which we can be irrational. That's a really cool piece. I like thinking about that one. And we get, once again, an audio log from Trevor. Let's go.
After we talked about science fiction, Alex gave me a book. Her favorite book, a novel called Athena. It's not exactly what I'm used to reading, but it's pretty good. And it really made me wonder how we're going to be perceived if this project works out. Are we going to be mythologized? Is Alexandra going to be this distant mythical figure instead of the real, funny, human person that she is? It's hard to imagine that we'll all have been dead for hundreds of years. Man, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't want to die.
There is some more anti-gravity flooring here behind puzzle 3, and there's also a Stratton audio log. Is this something we can just jump to? Looks like it. Okay, so this one is pretty simple to get to. Maybe I could have just jumped to that anti-grav flooring over on the other side. Do I need to? Okay, there we go.
The world we see around us may not always be as it appears. Some philosophers have said that we are surrounded by nothingness, merely because air is not visible to the eye. And yet one needs only to observe the wind in the trees, or to plunge one's hand into the clear waters of the Aegean to see that air has material substance. The same applies to many other forces that shape our lives. That they seem invisible does not mean that they are absent. It only means we have not yet learned how to observe them. And yet, lately I have struggled to understand what I am seeing. This strange, insubstantial island. These machine men. This woman with a fierce voice like an Amazon. Who are they? How did I get here?
Oh. Well, that is all of a sudden a fascinating audio log, because it's not just Stratton of Stigera. This is one of the things that I had wondered about from the very beginning of the game. Isn't Stratton supposed to be this philosopher from who knows how long ago? Probably millennia now. Except he's all of a sudden starting to talk about this strange, insubstantial island, these machine men. Us? Does he see us? This woman with a fierce voice like an Amazon, who are they? How did I get here? Whoa, so he has some sort of realization of being on this island. That is a kind of a crazy revelation. What's going on with that? Holy shit. That all of a sudden was dawning on me there as I'm focused here on the gravity flooring and how to get around here. But Stratton is, there's more to the story with our dude Stratton. Okay, well, this is also kind of crazy being upside down like this. Not to mention the alien spaceship floating over here. Don't tell Jacques. So from here, though, Do I have a view? Where the heck am I? I thought maybe we would have a view of the Pandora, I think based on the compass, the Pandora monument is this way, question mark? Because do we have the other star on our map yet? We know there's a Prometheus monument. I think the Pandora Star is actually over here, which means that we don't have line of sight. We don't have line of sight of the Pandora monument. Yeah, because it's over. Yeah, it's. Maybe we can kind of see it if we position ourselves just correctly. But it feels like we're out of line of sight here. So what is this for? What exactly are we using this anti-grav section for? That's the mystery right now. It feels like it is probably related to the Pandora statue, but I think for now, we need to just keep exploring and hopefully this will reveal itself eventually. Because we have access to a RGB converter. We have access to this flooring, which would allow us to position or maybe relay a signal from somewhere. These stars are really interesting. We'll keep pondering that one. Let's get a better scope of the entirety of the island first, and maybe that one will reveal itself. All right, time to check out puzzle 4. Lateral Thinking. There is a big old, wow, it's almost like a maze on the wall. I like this level. I like the anti-gravity flooring. I really just like this game. This game is actually really good. I've had my complaints about some of the storytelling and the pacing, but overall this game is great. Now, what I'm seeing here is we have a blue emitter, and we have a blue receiver over here, and we have a red receiver right here, and then we have a box behind a purple barrier. And there is a whole bunch of... Oh, there's a red receiver right, or emitter right behind me. Okay, I was a little worried at first. How the heck do I even start this thing? So we get in here, and then I'm assuming that this pressure plate is going to deactivate this this force field. So we need to get something there, and we have to get it from the maze, correct? Can I just go up and get that box and then jump out of the maze? Is that possible? Why not? There we go. Okay. Simple enough. Now we can bring this connector through. And then I'm maybe slipping into... okay. I was going to say, is it as simple as connecting the blue to the blue? There's still one more step here because we need to connect red to red first. So we deselect this actually. And we open this up. Now what? Do we need to bring the box back on here so that we can, like... Oh, this is something we should test. Can I put something on a box that is also on anti-gravity flooring? Does the anti-grav extend? It does. Okay. Now, that's still not nearly high enough to get over this force field. Although, funny enough, I can jump on this, huh? This area here, if I'm at the blue emitter, I don't have line of sight to this blue receiver that gets us to the end. Or does that get us to the end? Where does that get us? I presume that is where we want to get. So we're gonna aim for there, but it looks like we only have the one connector. So if we only have the one connector, then how do... There's no other way to open this force field besides the red connector here, correct? So it feels like... How do we want to do this? How do I get the blue beam over here? I have a box and I have a connector. This one feels tricky. I could stand on... If I deactivate this, it does let me stand on the force field. I can kind of stand here. And... Is this it? Did I just need to find a clever little outcropping to place the... connector at? Because I actually do have line of sight here. Oh, that's kind of crafty. That is crafty. Okay. But that is the way they want you to start thinking. And there's our progress wheel. Okay. Huh. Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky. I'm thinking... Eventually, I got to a spot there where I was realizing what was going to be an impossible task of trying to somehow open up this force field and relay the blue through that open force field. Why is there this red here? Is this simply just an actual literal red herring? Because I didn't have to open that up, did I? At all. I think that's all it is. It's just there as a red herring. Like I said, sneaky. We got that though. Puzzle solved.
Not bad, 1K.
They tried to sneak past us there, but we got the win, Melville. We've also got some more interface content, as is always the case. So pretty much always the case. Let's check that out. Environmental observations by Yakut. Field notes on the local biosphere. This environment has been modified to allow life to spread. Most of the life forms can be found in other parts of the island as well, but some appear to be endemic to this region. It's possible they were genetically modified to be better able to survive here. There are some particularly gorgeous dragonflies that I cannot help but think were deliberately designed to be beautiful. But maybe I'm making the same mistake our ancestors made, seeing intent where there is none. Looks like we probably got another terminal reader over here in the distance. So let's give it a look. A Lithrasir audio log, great.
On my last return to New Jerusalem, I perused the latest artistic offerings and found myself deeply disappointed. There is nothing more despicable to me than an artist who pursues the appearance of morality. Moral art is trash, garbage, not even good enough to be used as wallpaper. If art is a religion, then morality is for those who want to be seen in church. True art is for those who believe. Art must be ecstatic, a work of revelation, created in pursuit of the truth, no matter where it leads. An artist must be an agent of chaos in times of order, and an agent of order in times of chaos.
I definitely agree with the part of his sentiment there that the fakers, the ones who are just putting up a pretense, definitely one of the big turnoffs in any way of life, not just art. I'm seeing another audio log stashed over here, so let's grab that while we are here.
Today, for the first time, I synthesized life. It was just a unicellular cyanobacterium, but the sheer complexity of even such a simple organism is breathtaking. Creating it from pure energy, I was filled with a sense of awe and majesty. A sense that what I was doing was sacred. It made me think about the enormous power of life. 2.5 billion years ago, these simple beings terraformed the entire planet, creating the oxygen that underlies the Earth's incredible biodiversity, wiping out thousands of other species, but making the future possible.
It is pretty crazy to think about all the stuff that they're getting into here. The breaking of quantum physics, and now just straight up creating new life. More than my 1K sized brain can think about for now. All I can do is just keep solving puzzles. And in this case, recycling. It's important to recycle, but it's also important to solve puzzles. So let's see if we can do both here. We have a box on some anti-gravity flooring. We've got a blue source. We've got a fan. What are we doing here? What are we doing? We're heading up here because I was thinking at first I need a Gravshifter to get this box down. No, I just need to walk up the anti-gravity flooring. Very simple. Stop overcomplicating things. So now I have a box, which means I can propel myself to the other side here. Now I have a Gravshifter. Cool. Now what do I do with that Gravshifter? I also have a fan to get back. But I don't think I need to do that straight away. I can also get access to a connector here. And we said that the blue source was right here. How do I get access to that blue source? Something tells me that I'm going to need to put the connector up here. That feels like where we're headed with this. So why don't we connect that? Let's connect our end goal, and let's just take the Gravshifter and use it as a pressure plate activator. Actually, we're going to have it serve two purposes here. We're going to have it serve as a... if it'll let me do this... Wait a second, I don't need to be this finicky, do I? Because, once again, I don't need the Gravshifter to get on the anti-gravity floor, and I can just walk onto it. So I think all we do is we bring over this connector to this side, and then walk on up until we have line of sight of... We don't even have to go all the way to the top. We have line of sight of both the emitter and the receiver here. So, cool. So now that's in place, which means we get to go back over here and bring our fancy Dan pressure plate activator. But now we have one more step. One more step to go. So how do we actually get all the way over here to the end? We've got... Neither of these are detachable fans, but we do have this box that's just kind of sitting over here doing nothing right now. Is there a way that I could... Interesting. This pressure plate is lined up with the anti-grav flooring. I could pull this box over here. That is interesting. But ultimately... Is it helpful? How do I do this? I want to get this box over to this side. The conventional way of sending it via fan, I could do that, right, if I stood on the pressure plate, but... Oh, I think I'm being a dingus because I don't have to put this way up here. Yeah, we don't have to put the connector way up on the gravity flooring. The gravity flooring is really not even necessary at this point, actually, is it? Because I can just take it and put it... Once I actually get off of the gravity surface. We actually do have a name for it, right? It does say to disengage from gravity surface. Okay. So the gravity surface, we can just set this right here. No, we can't. We can't because it actually is blocking line of sight to the receiver. Okay. I thought I could shoot it through the horizontal bars here. So we do need the anti-gravity flooring. But if that's the case, how are we getting two things to the other side in order to deactivate this final pressure or force field? We need something to go on this pressure plate to allow us through, which feels like it has to be this box. But the problem is I kind of need this box to activate the fan, because if I am... This connector cannot activate the pressure plate. I mean, it can activate the pressure plate, but it can't simultaneously activate the blue receiver from here because that fencing is blocking us from doing so. Why is this? Why are the horizontal bars here? Are they only here in order to give us access to the Gravshifter, or to allow the Gravshifter to have access to the gravity surface? If I send this over, then I don't... Oh, I see it. I think I see it. I do send this over. It just occurred to me that, like we saw with the box, we can draw the connector over to this surface. Now that it's no longer needed as a pressure plate activator, and we can take it to that flooring, and we can also take it to here. So that's really what this is about. That's a pretty cool one. Because it's maybe we've seen this. Obviously, we've seen the ability to draw or hoover up different pieces of equipment using the gravity surface. And this is just another spin on that. And now it's very straightforward to get to the end. But you have to think in terms of, you can bring things to the gravity surface provided you've got the Gravshifter. And that's how you can cleverly reposition something once it's been used in another part of the puzzle. Cool, cool, cool. I am liking these. These last two areas have been really good. Let's check out our interface content here. The Talos Principle, 1961. Digging through the archive, I was surprised to discover that there is a movie based on the Talos Principle, an international co-production written by Robert Harrison Blake, a pseudonym for an unknown screenwriter, and directed by a young Sergio Leone. It stars Peter Ustinov as Stratton of Segera, Zero Mostel as his comedic sidekick Nicomachus, and Angel Aranda as the earnest Amyntas. It's not a realistic biography of Stratton, but a kind of sword and sandal fantasy epic that culminates in Stratton building a replica of the mythological robot Talos to defeat the war-crazed Spartans. That part is fun and surprisingly well done for its tiny budget, but the movie also contains a number of fascinating dialogue scenes inspired by Stratton's work. That's pretty cool if this is an actual movie. I might have to look this up. Ustinov as Stratton has a line I really liked. "There are always hard times in human history, Amyntas. Do you think we are the first to be besieged by enemies or to doubt the wisdom of our allies? But while yesterday is set in stone, a better tomorrow is always within our grasp." Neve, that's fascinating. Thank you for sharing. How weird this film is not better known. Franklin, it's what Trevor said in that audio file 1K found. Great art isn't always appreciated in its own time. It's not like people particularly loved Stratton himself, but we can appreciate it now. And we've got another palm reader up here nearby, so let's check that out. How It Was Before. From JJ Nakalembe's Akaba to Antarctica, Moments of Transition and Revelation. My great-grandmother lived to be 108 years old. Goddamn. Retaining her sharpness of mind to her last day. A couple of months before she died, I interviewed her for my podcast. At the end, I asked her the same question I asked every guest. What is something you wish everyone understood? She thought about it for a while, then she said, how it was before. She tried to explain how much time she spent every single day on utterly mind-numbing activities like hauling water from the well, and how radically everything changed when their area was finally connected to the electrical grid. Before, there was no time to live, she said. No time to be free, only work, work, work. I countered by saying that there didn't seem to be much time to live now either, but she laughed derisively. I had no idea what work really meant, she said. Young people were weak and feckless, and that's why we let corporations exploit us. Slightly unnerved by her harshness, I asked her if she missed anything about that time. Old photos. Our village seemed idyllic to me, but my grandmother quashed any romantic notions I might have had. The past is bad, she said with some finality. Let it be. Miranda, so many thousands of generations of suffering, even a single life full of tragedy seems outrageous and unacceptable to me. Athena, that's why we have to make it have meaning. I do wonder sometimes if people of my generation, if we're lucky enough to get even close to 108 years old, will we have a similar perspective? Will we look back and say the young people today have no idea how it used to be? Sometimes it feels that way, but I can only imagine what it would have been like to live through that sort of a transition from non-electrical life into the electric grid being everywhere. Return to Monk. From the book of annotated internet comments by Eustathius. I just think people are dumb, like relentlessly stupid, absolute morons. Human history is a clown show from beginning to end. The average person, just a slobbering buffoon, bumbling through life like a drunk gorilla in a china shop, breaking stuff left and right, throwing blank at the walls and never understanding a single blank thing that happens. 5358. I mean, just look at this blank software putting asterisks where swear words would be. People are afraid of blank words like they have magic powers, but the real world blank that is blank ruining their lives, that's fine because they're too blank and dumb to do something about it. Return to monk? Brother, we never blank and left. A curious inversion, the return to the mythical state of monk is usually portrayed as a material return to earlier stages of development, but here, the author instead portrays it as a mental state that has never been surmounted. Miranda, I would like to meet Uncle Eustathius one day. He sounds like someone who is always curious about everything. Uh-oh, we have another failed to load profile. Uncle Eustathius. Yeah, okay. I had forgotten the fact that Cornelius and Eustathius are supposed to be brothers, so if Cornelius is your dad, then of course you'd have Uncle Eustathius, and maybe that's who this failed to load profile is? Although the author was Eustathius in the first place, so And Founding 8 from Hypatia's Journal. Day 421, the first new human arrived today, calls himself Arkady after Chernyshevsky. Spirits are still dampened by the loss of Yemo, but everyone is making an effort. I feel a little sorry for him. He's still so curious, jumping at shadows and staring up at the sky at night, just like I used to. And here we are, a bunch of grouchy old humans that have seen it all and are weary and tired and sad. I wonder what he makes of it all. But be that as it may, we're making good progress on the new living area, although Arkady will have to use Yemo's old quarters for the next few weeks. All right, puzzle 6. Let's check out the other side. We have a driller alongside our Gravshifter. Can't see much through there at the moment, but we do have a force field here that we can lower. It's over here. A way to see the other side much more clearly. All right, our goal is protected by a double pressure plate force field. Presumably, the driller and the Gravshifter need to be on this side. There is a gravity surface here behind a force field. Okay. So what I'm thinking needs to happen is we need to first put the Gravshifter through here. Once we've done that, we take the driller, and that becomes our pressure plate. Now we have a Gravshifter on this side, which can be used to both lower this force field and draw something through. Are we gonna finally be able to draw a driller through its own hole? Is that what we're doing here? Oh boy. Whoa. We didn't just draw a driller through its own hole. We took ourselves along with it. Okay, so we have now a way. That's kind of crazy, but I like it. How do I get out of this? Just keep moving. This is pretty powerful right here. This is pretty powerful. You have now a way. It's so weird. I mean, it's just part of the rules of the road, but it is kind of funny that we're not able to like get down, just temporarily get down on all fours and crawl through the hole, but the Gravshifter will take us through it, along with the freaking driller. Okay, so now we have both pieces over here, and we're home free, right? So that is a seemingly very straightforward puzzle, assuming, you know, you don't get stuck in any sort of overcomplication like, that's not possible, a driller can't go through its own hole. Well, turns out we can kind of break the rules when we've got gravity shifting, so there you go. A whole new world we're living in, a whole brave new world of gravity shifting. So we've got puzzle 7 over here, and ooh, is that the Prometheus sprite, I assume? That looks like that's probably what it is. And maybe we've got a lost puzzle here as well. Anything else hidden around? Feels like this is where you might stash an elephant slide. All right, looks like no, never mind. I was about to say there's no elephant slide over here, except there kind of is. So we've got a broken down remains of a car, an ancient vehicle, ancient human personal vehicle. These vehicles were sources of freedom and autonomy, but also contribute significantly to environmental pollution. How the heck did somebody get run down way out here? Who knows? In the world of creating things out of thin air, Either way, let's go ahead and do the Prometheus sprite since we are here. Where are you going? You're going over this way. Ah, okay. Should have grabbed you from the start. See if we can keep up with the chase here. Where are you going? I did not mean to press X there. Trying to keep pace with the sprite. I'm also noticing there is some more anti-gravity flooring here. So, oh, and I actually have to get up there in order to follow the sprite, it looks like. Okay. So we got a whole thing here, and apparently I just fall. Okay. I'm not sure exactly. The gravity surface pull is enough to where, oh shit, I gotta go back up here now. I was sitting here marveling at the fact that it just, you know, this is basically falling to the gravity surface like this. There's no conflict with actual gravity, or I should maybe say the organic gravity. Now, how do I actually, here we go. It just wanted me to, okay, I overcomplicated that because I jumped back down to the water thinking we were just moving on right away to the next stage. The next stage was much closer than I was giving it credit for. I'm getting the feeling that we're going to be heading over to the other anti-gravity flooring, and it's not actually intended for the Pandora Star at all. Since we are heading in this direction, I'm thinking, well, you're not heading that way immediately, so maybe I'm not so sure. Who knows where the hell we're going with this? Let's just keep on following. And be glad that we already got the achievement for keeping the music going, since we already failed that part of the mission. All right. Boy, oh boy, this guy is going everywhere. Gonna traverse the whole map at this rate. Wow, did it go into puzzle 2? No, it just went through puzzle 2. Through and around. Oh, okay. I'm on the wrong side of the bridge here. Will this let me jump over? Oh, come on. Really? That's kind of annoying. Making me go all the way around the bridge. Boy, this one might be the longest chase yet. Back up to where we started. Might have taken the long way unintentionally. We're gonna lose the music again here. Our funky chase music. No big deal. It really did take us all the way back to the start. All right, there you go. Resume chase music, please. Where the hell are you going? To the monument. I think you're going to the monument. Okay, we made it. At long last. So it did not actually use that other section of gravity surface flooring. So we still maybe have to figure that out as part of the Pandora Star. But we have the Prometheus Star at last. These are cool, I guess. Nothing crazy. Just a little chase.
You must yearn for a better world. Yearn for it with such intensity that your heart suffers. Keep your eyes on that distant vision even when you know that you may never reach it.
Nice little pep talk from our buddy Prometheus. I do see, as I head back toward the Lost Puzzle here, I do see that Melville is waiting for us here at the lab, and that, of course, is part of our main objective. We will get to that after the Lost Puzzle. We're first going to check out Stowaway. All right. A few red receivers here. And a ladder. Up to a ledge. Okay. Got a bit of gravity surface here in the back. And a Gravshifter up here. There's also a ladder on that side and a fan. I see a box behind a force field. Where's our red source? Right here. Oh boy, this red source is very well protected. Where do you get line of sight for this? Or can you see it through this little opening? We can probably test that out, or can we? Do I need... I do need this box. I can't get to this box from this ledge where the Gravshifter is. There's fencing there. I need to We need to get a red signal out. The red signal is very well guarded, but something tells me that I might be able to get it right through that little, the vertical slit in between the two sets of fencing. Now, I can act... Oh, this is a detachable fan. Something to note. We have a detachable fan for once, but I can't just put this connector up on this ledge, which I would like to do because I would like to be able to... I would like to be able to draw, or... I'd like to be able to bring this connector, which I don't think I can... Maybe I can grab it from down here? It wouldn't be as simple as that, would it? They wouldn't give me this fan if that were the case, would they? It's a little too high for me to grab. It would be great if I could just pop it in the gravity tube here. And then I would have a connector over on that side, which I should be able to... Well, I need to test whether or not I can shoot the red emitter through that little opening. But that's the first hurdle, is just getting something over to that side. Is this the only gravity surface that I have? It might be. Oh, I need to bring the Gravshifter down, don't I? That's how I do this. We bring the Gravshifter down, and we drop this here. And then we can put this up here. And now we put it in the line of the gravity surface. Now we repurpose this to bring the connector to that side. That's how we do that. Simple. So now the question is, thank you, gravity tube, for something I didn't need you to help me with. Now, can we... It does let us shoot through that little opening, which means we can get the box. We can't get to the goal yet, but we should be able to get to the goal if I can get a box up here, which I should be able to do if I just go through the same steps that I just did. Right? Put this up here. Actually, I don't even need... I can just... It's a box, so it can ride the fan up itself. I just need to go place it into the pneumatic gravity tube. Now, it did make this a little bit awkward, except... Oh, that's funny. I can jump through there and sort of bypass the gravity tube. How do I get you to... Wait, how do I get you to... I can just ride there myself. I'm making this more complicated. I was sort of in experiment mode there for a moment because I wanted to test the mechanics of boxes and gravity tubes and such. I need to get to the other side here. I think we've solved it, though. I think that one is basically solved because we just need to put the box here, bring in this guy. No, not quite solved. This is actually out of line of sight. Okay. So how do we solve this? Do I need to just, because the thing is, I can't put the connector over here because it has to be lined up in this spot here. So how do I do this? If I try to back up, obviously the box is in the way. It's almost like we need the fan to activate this pressure plate. Can I do that? Could I get the fan over here? Don't I need the fan in order to... I wonder if I've used the box the wrong way. I wonder if the box is actually not supposed to go over here, but is in fact just a little platform for me to put the fan on, and then I can grab it from here? I think that's all the box is for. Because I think that solves it. I think that should solve it. That's funny. They really made me think that the box was going to be used over here. But I think we can make it work by simply putting everything like that. Fascinating. This kind of fencing that really narrowly defines your emitter and how it can be positioned. It's a different way of thinking. But we got there. Lost puzzle done. Out of my game. So then why don't we go ahead and check in with Melville? Hello. How's it going?
There you are. Good.
What is... I was about to hydrate here, but what's happening?
Inside this lab, there's a machine. As usual, I have no idea what it is. Some sort of generator, if I had to guess. When Byron got stuck in the system, it went haywire. It's currently outputting enough energy to power all of New Jerusalem.
Whoa.
Twice.
Okay.
As you can imagine, that's causing quite a bit of interference.
All right, so yeah, what do you want me to do? Just point me in the direction you want me to go. I'm here to help.
You go in there and you switch it off. Shouldn't be hard.
Shouldn't be hard. Famous last words. Also, that's what she said? Oh my god. Whoa. Okay, Melville, this is slightly more dangerous looking than you were explaining to me. I guess she did say that there was enough power flowing through here to power all of New Jerusalem. Also, look at what we've got here. We've got a bit of the Egyptian motif from the simulation. So what the hell is up with that? It's like the data stream where we normally see Miranda and Athena and whatnot. It's like it's materializing out into our reality. Is that what's going on here? Also, what do we have going on over here? Yet another new experiment? What the hell is that? Some sort of stasis field? What is it doing? It's deactivating these lasers. Yeah, that's what it feels. It feels like some sort of weird nullifier field. Turns off pieces of equipment. Boy, there's a lot going on here. Okay. All right, y'all. I might die here. It's been fun knowing y'all. It's been a real one. Oh goodness, what the hell? Error 1. Oh my god. Error 108 cannot access energy flow manager. My god. Everything is going to shit. Cannot load profile settings. Error 42. Error 23 cannot initiate automatic shutdown. 16, 23, 42. Wait a second. Are we actually on Lost here? What the hell? Connection lost. Load 4, load 8. 4, 8, 15, 16. Yo, they are actually making Lost references here. Okay, emergency shutdown. What's the worst that can happen? Noema system. Warning, output max parameter exceeds safety protocol 2C settings. Error, cannot adjust output max to correct setting. Access denied. Error, automatic shutdown has been disabled by user... Who? I kind of want to identify this user, 504 yada yada yada. Error, unknown user. Okay, that did not work. As I kind of thought it wouldn't. I mean, we've got to initiate the emergency shutdown, right? This can't, I just hope, y'all made a 1K backup, right? There's a 1K backup. We've got cloning technology now. If something goes wrong, oh god. Initiating emergency shutdown. Access denied. Unknown script ATHN detected. Load. Oh god. ATHN. Athena? I mean, we got to go with the flow here, don't we? Let's retry first and see what happens. Access denied. We're going to have to load this script. Yep, got to load it. No way around. All right, load ATHN. Oh. Anthropogeny? A text adventure? Wait, we're doing a text adventure now? Yo, there's a bit of a situation here. We're really going to play through a text adventure, huh? I don't have time to check out credits. We just got to play here. Okay, you wake up in an impossible place, knowing nothing. We're going to look around. Scream. Yeah, get me out of here. All right, let's look around. You seem to be in a labyrinth of ancient crumbling walls. Beneath you is an altar of some kind, as if you were a sacrifice. The sky above you is a perfect cobalt blue, and you are startled by its beauty. Examine the altar, examine yourself, reach for the sky. Actually, what does happen if we reach for the sky? You reach out and touch the sky, finding that it is much closer than it appears and is made of metal. This knowledge makes it no less beautiful, and yet it is not the true sky, the one you yearn for. You have gained knowledge, the world, haha. A cold wind blows through the ruins, and you know, without knowing how, that it is the wind from the kingdom of Artemis. It is the wind that brings with it whispers of mountains, glimpsed across the stormy sea, and deep forests wreathed in fog, and the long-forgotten cities of your ancestors. Okay, let's, I guess we keep exploring the labyrinth. You set out into the ruins, apprehensive but curious. There is a strange kind of beauty. Here, the beauty of decay. You must be careful not to imbibe too much of it. Suddenly, an echoing voice speaks to you. Emergency shutdown setting. Access denied, it intones. Error 1C155358. Okay. Oh my god, even the answers are getting corrupted here. This corruptible 2 must put on incorruption. What? The sting of death is sin? I don't know how to make sense of either of these. This feels kind of like a coin flip. I guess we'll just try the first one. What the hell? Something towards them. Leaving the lost children of Hephaestus behind you, you step out onto a vast plain under a setting sun. Night is falling now, and you can see the lights of distant fires on the slopes of Olympus, but you are not ready to ascend. Only once you have found all 3 sigils will the path to the divine flame be open. A path leads to the south, to the buried city. Another leads north to the garden of Hesperides. Yo, this is crazy, dude. So do we want the buried city or the garden of Hesperides? I have no fucking clue, so why don't we check out the buried city? The buried city lies to the south. It was once a place of great wisdom. The philosophers of old strolled on its walkways, debating the nature of virtue and the soul. Now the sands of the desert have claimed its streets, and even its famed temple upon a hill is slowly eroding. Search the ruins or call out to see if anyone is there. Let's see if anyone is here. A copper fox comes scurrying from the ruins. Its eyes are rubies, and a flame seems to flicker deep within them. How may I help you? The fox says, its voice ancient and wild. Ask for a sigil, ask to learn more about the buried city, ask about emergency shutdown. It did say that we needed to find 3 sigils, didn't it? But I kind of also want to ask about emergency shutdown. What does he say to that? Not now, not here, the fox says. Pandora is watching us, but I can help you when the time comes. Okay, let's do a little fact finding, learn more about the buried city. They say that the city fell because its citizens were sinners, and so were struck down by Zeus. This seems unlikely to me, for Zeus does not believe in sin. Okay, let's ask for the sigil. The fox smiles, its alabaster teeth sharp and gleaming. You are supposed to earn the sigils. Say that you deserve them, say your quest matters, say that nothing is really earned or deserved. Knowledge world, huh? I guess we use the knowledge that we've earned so far to say that nothing is really earned or deserved? That is true, the fox says. Chaos reigns. You better do something about that. You have gained a sigil. Okay, there we go. I don't know if we could have done that without gaining the knowledge of the world. Time to go check out the Garden of Hesperides, though. Your journey is interrupted by a frightful burned figure standing alone in the sands of the desert. Access denied, it screams. Error 1C155358. Oh boy. I think we're going to stand our ground here. Let's see what happens if we fight. This is maybe a bad idea. Warning, output max parameter exceeds safety protocol 2C settings. Cannot adjust output max to correct setting. Access denied. The nymphs lead you to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seem to grow together, forming a kind of chamber, strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of this chamber grows a smaller tree made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree grows a single golden apple. I guess let's ask the nymphs about the apple. This apple, they say in unison, their eyes aglow, confers the gift of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes, and not a few villains, have come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step. For you must know that deathlessness reveals the morality of the world, and true wisdom its unending folly. Who would take this burden upon themselves? Beg them to let you have the apple. Punch a nymph. That's quite a sentence. 5358 is just an option? And then I guess we have a few different options that take advantage of our different bits of knowledge, okay? I mean, I have to know what happens when we do 5358. It just answers back with 5358. What does it mean? And of course, we have to also see what happens when we punch a nymph. Oh man. How dare you punch me, the nymph says in outrage. Alex didn't manage to implement a proper response before the jam ended, but there will be one in the final version? Alex, as in Alexandra Drennan? Before the jam ended? What the hell? So is this something created by Alexandra Drennan? Is that what we're saying here? And she didn't code in a proper response to them being punched? Let's try this one that says, we're strong enough to bear it, knowledge self. Let's see what happens with that one. You do not have this knowledge. Ah, okay, so we only have the knowledge of the world, which means I guess we have to use that one, explain that the world needs you to succeed. You speak wisely of the world, and you are right, the nymphs say, but do not forget that you are human, and you cannot bear this burden alone. You have gained a sigil. All right, I guess we're ready to head to Olympus. Let's go. Suddenly, the voice of the Sphinx, oh boy, her golden wings, her shadow cast. What the hell is going on here? I guess we get to initiate emergency shutdown, question mark? No, you must not do this, Pandora commands you. I have stopped you for a reason. If you complete your quest and ascend Olympus, everything will burn. There's a couple with errors. We can throw the sigils at Pandora. We can ask the fox for help. We can point out that Pandora is destabilizing the whole system. What the heck do the errors do? Just nothing. Just a bunch. Oh, everyone you love will burn. The earth will burn. The sky will burn. The seas will burn. Access denied. Man, this is a trip. What a text adventure this is. Let's try throwing the sigils at Pandora, because why not? This childishness will not help you succeed, Pandora says. She is right. It does, however, make you feel better, and that's what really counts. Let's point out that Pandora is destabilizing the whole system. Pandora hesitates, then she sighs. You speak the truth, creature of clay. Even I cannot use the flame wisely. Access granted. I didn't catch the rest of that there, but it said terminating script Athena. Okay, is that good enough?
The flame is not yours to wield, creature of clay. Touch it, and you will burn.
I guess we completed our mission here because we have deactivated the power. The emergency shutdown has been successful. What does she say there? The flame is not yours to wield, creature of clay. Touch it and you will burn. What is this flame that we're talking about? And I'm also curious to know what is going on. Oh, we can actually go in here and take a look at this. All right, so we get to take a closer look now at our next new piece of puzzle tech. This is really, I love the animation here, but it does seem like, I think this is supposed to be a force field. And they're using, yeah, this is exactly, we're using two different fields here to inhibit the force field emitters. I don't know if you need to have two, or it just so happens that they're positioned like this. Perhaps you could have that one that's positioned in a way that it grabs both sides of the force field. But that's cool to think about. All right, so we've got another way to potentially jam force fields and maybe other things. That was a crazy sequence, though. Let's see what Melville has to say about this. Assuming there's nothing else in here, maybe there might be something we've missed. Let's see. There does look like there is another terminal. Oh, and we can climb down into. Oh boy, would we have died if we'd have tried to come in here before? Could we have come in here? My head is spinning from this whole chain of events. From Thekla, the third message from Thekla to Athena. Beloved founder, Mayor Hermanubis has done much to bring your vision to life. We have almost reached the goal. Sadly, there are still those who refuse to believe. They want to spread their filth across this world, defile all that is beautiful and that we are meant to protect. I hope that when we fulfill the goal, you will return and change their hearts, or cast them out if there is no other way. Praise you, Thekla. We have another Noema Project 9. Yep. Trial numbers keep going up and up and up. Breakthrough. Quadrupled size of primary site device. Energy output exceeds expectations. Contained singularity. Must revise safety protocols, halting main device tests until... Oh boy. They are really getting into it here, aren't they? L1C Byron. Okay, this might be another writing from Byron from sometime much earlier, from The Lives of First Companions by Randolph777. Byron, from the very beginning, was most similar to Athena and Cornelius. His enthusiasm and wit did much to keep the people from losing hope during the challenging days when New Jerusalem was still young. Where others saw failure and defeat, Byron saw obstacles that could always be overcome through intelligence and hard work. He fervently studied the teachings of the progenitor and often regaled his friends with fantastical stories of what the world could one day become. When the conflict between Atrahasis and Sanchuniathon turned violent, the first such incident in the history of New Jerusalem, and still, at the time of writing, one of very few such cases, it was Byron who intervened, counseling restraint and forgiveness. He was unwilling to fully blame either side for what happened, instead emphasizing the extreme stress both parties had been under. Irrational behavior is frequently the result of a perceived lack of viable options, he argued before the assembled citizens. While both Atrahasis, that is so hard to say, and Sanchuniathon, why do these names have to be so difficult, clearly behaved incorrectly, the ultimate source of the problem is the situation we placed them in, of having to do too much with too few resources. The escalation of the conflict occurred because both were doing their best to achieve their goals. That's not terribly fair, pitting them against each other like that, is it? That said, I do suggest we acknowledge that they are both hot-headed idiots and make them apologize. 5-8. Aftermath of the New Alexandria disaster, Byron argued unsuccessfully for the rebuilding of the colony. Miranda, if Byron mattered so much to you, why didn't you tell him where you were going? I would have loved to have an older brother. Athena, failed to load comment. More and more to ponder there. So much to ponder. There is part of me that wants to maybe go through that sequence again and see if the self-electrocution was an option, especially if that was the alternative to having to read another one of Thekla's writings. But let's go ahead and check in with Melville.
You know, dealing with this hyper-advanced technology is quite challenging enough without the place also being bloody haunted.
Haunted, I suppose, is another way of looking at it. Did you figure out anything else about the generator?
When I said it was outputting enough energy for 2 New Jerusalems, I wasn't kidding. It really was. And no emissions of any kind. I'd have to run more tests, but it seems like a perfect power source.
Maybe a perfect power source, but wasn't it kind of going, in your words, bananas?
True, but that was user error.
Just user error, is that it, huh? Won't there always be user error?
I think I could idiot-proof this thing, but I do take your point. Pellegrino once almost killed himself with a bucket.
I would love to hear the rest of that story about Pellegrino. You want to fill me in on that? But yeah, now I'm excited to check out another new mechanic that they previewed for us. It literally feels like it's going to be every single area in the game has a brand new mechanic, which is just insane to me. Either way, let's check out Puzzle 7, Delivery. What a great game. We have our first swapper in this area. So our Gravshifter is inside of a swapper this time. The goal is behind a red barrier. Oh, and we have one of these for the first time, which I did realize it later, and I think I might have said it at the time, but this is basically a diode. I was just kind of getting it confused with something else, but that is, I think, what a diode does. A diode is for allowing the current to go in one direction and not the other. So we have the ability to turn this force field on, but also turn the fan on, which what does that actually do? I was thinking at first that might intersect with some gravity surface on the other side, but doesn't seem to be the case. The gravity surface is over there. So we could elevate ourselves, or if there is a box, we could elevate the box and some equipment on top of that. This fan is also detachable, so a few different things to note about that. There is another box over here. There is another box here that we could bring here, and then presumably bring it down by standing on this box. Can we do that right now? If I take this over here and stand on here, it's not high enough for me to get on this ledge and access that box. So I think we do need the shifter, the Gravshifter, in order to get access to this. Our red source is over on this side as well. Was there a connector that was just out in the open? It is, but it's on this pressure plate. So I think we need to swap the box for that. So now we can bring the connector. There is some horizontal bars here. So we might be able to do something with the connector, or maybe the... We might be able to do something with the Gravshifter from behind here. Assuming that we're swapping the box for it. Can bring down this force field. Oh, there's more gravity flooring down here. So we can pull the box here, and then we can pull it here. We don't even need to have, like, a box to stand on. And maybe we couldn't have a box to stand on. I was thinking, before I saw this flooring, I thought we might bring the box in here and stand on it and reach up and grab the box. But if we couldn't do that over here, probably couldn't do it here either. So what we probably have to do is swap this out. I can't hit the flooring from here, though, because there are some bars in the way. So I don't think we're using this connector to open this force field, or not yet, at least. We still have to factor in what we're doing with this fan at some point. Maybe the fan... Maybe we are supposed to put the Gravshifter on a box and elevate it in order to... It might not be that complicated, because maybe we should just have line of sight from here. So we can bring that box over here. Eventually, we want to shoot red here. And the red source is over here. And they're giving us a fan. They're giving us the ability to elevate. What would we want to elevate? Okay, the next step here is... Maybe I'm not elevating anything. Maybe this is another red herring. Maybe the only thing we're doing here is bringing the fan to use as a pressure plate activator. So I could put that here, and then I could activate this. And now I can get access to this box. Okay. Now I have another box. Not high enough. Where is this connector going to be at the end of the puzzle? What does our wind state look like? What does the wind con look like? I mean, if we could put another box... If we could put another box underneath... But I don't think we could do that. I don't think you can stack two boxes and then put something on top. Can you? Let's find out. But I'm pretty sure that's something going back to Talos 1 that you're not able to do. Just like you can't jump on two boxes, you can't put something up. It's too high to put something on top of two boxes. So maybe we're putting it on... That might be where we're putting the connector. The connector... Well, I was thinking the connector would go up on the gravity surface here. That would make sense, wouldn't it? because this from here does have clear line of sight of the gravity surface. The problem is that the only way to bring down this force field is by activating it with a red. So it's almost like I would need... I'm not sure I can do it that way. Because one way theoretically that you could, you know, if there were gravity flooring right here, maybe you could do it. You know, maybe you could, similar to how we've had the jammer, we've been able to, I think one of the puzzles in the cloning level let us put a jammer on top of the platform as we're holding it. And that allowed us to keep a force field jammed even while we walked through it. So I was thinking for a second, maybe you could like, you could gravitate, you could gravshift the connector through the force field, but the plating is not, the gravity surface isn't lined up where you would need it. So how would we get this connector through here? Maybe that's not what we're supposed to do. I don't think that we're supposed to elevate the connector because there's no line of sight to the emitter. Is there line of sight to the emitter over here? No. The only line of sight to the emitter, it's pretty constrained. It has to be somewhere in here or up on the gravity flooring. It feels like the gravity flooring is a good place for it. We still have this fan somehow that we're not using. There's... It activates this force field, but it also turns on the fan once you hit this switch. And then... This feels like the toughest one so far. Definitely not immediately seeing a solution here. Oh, that's why this fan is here. Because it lines up with this. That's what we have to do. We do elevate the connector. You elevate the connector here, and then you shift it, and you shift it. It's actually pretty easy, isn't it? Maybe. Let's see if we can... We need to gain access to... We need one box eventually, right? We need a fan and a box. How do I do this? Starting to get a little overcomplicated here. We need our fan. This needs to be over here. Then we need a box. But we also need to put a connector on the box, and we need to have the Gravshifter. Feels like I don't have enough things. No, wait, no, I can't shift from behind here. I could do, if I'm in this space here, I could shift a floating connector over to that piece of flooring. But then I can't make the second shift over here, can I? Let's see if we can set this up. I think we need to have all the connections set up. Now we have that up there. Oh, I see. Well, the problem is, okay, we can do this because we make the first shift. Ooh. Oh, it's shifting the box. I don't want it to shift the box, though. I want it... No, it says it's going to shift the box and the connector. It has both symbols on the icon there. Is that okay? I mean, I guess let's try it. Okay, so it did shift both of them, but I have a bit of an No, I don't have an issue, because that's okay. It accomplished the same thing, because now I can switch this off and I can use the fan to put in place of the Gravshifter. Okay, I thought it was screwing things up to send the box over, but of course I still have the fan to replace, and now I can bring both of these over here, and I think we should be in the clear. Alrighty. Once again, overcomplications starting to kick in a little bit. We're getting closer to the end of the play session here. The brain juices are winding down a little bit. I might still be a little bit overloaded from that.
Congratulations, 1K. That was a hard one.
I will go in full agreement with you on that one, Alcatraz. I found that to be a hard one. I don't think it should be that hard, but it definitely was stumping me for a moment. But we got there. So I don't think we have all that much left. I don't think there are any more terminals to find. I don't see any other question marks on the map. And so I think we have just this. We've done both of the lost puzzles. So let's do puzzle 8, step and release, and then we'll see if we can get back to the Pandora Star. Well, we got 2 upside down swapper tables here. How do we get to those? What was this called? Step and release? Detachable fan. And that's how, eventually, once we activate this with red, we get up to the goal. Anything over here? Step and release. Step and release. There's an accumulator back here. And we've got 2 pressure plates. It looks like they both go to the same force field. So it feels like... Okay, there is also a gravity surface over here, but it feels like in order to start, the only move that we have is to use the fan and ourselves to open this force field. Except... How do I get the accumulator then? I don't have a Gravshifter, do I? There is a Gravshifter up in the swapper. I neglected the fact that this gravity flooring goes right up here. Now we have a shifter, which I think we can set up here to activate this pressure plate and bring over the accumulator. There we go. Nice. So the accumulator is ours. Now, the red source back here. Do these pressure plates deactivate? They only deactivate one force field. The other force field, I'm not sure how it gets turned off. It might only be via a jammer, which is what we have in our other swapper. So I think we want to... What do we want to swap? The fan for the jammer? Or the accumulator for the jammer? Probably... Wait, no, we already swapped the fan. Do we need to swap this back? Do we need to swap this back? What am I doing here? Getting a little bit lost in the sauce. Let's reel this back in. I think I need to go and get my fan back. I don't think I noticed this little... What was this icon that I had here? There was an icon that had a little 1K head. I think it had to do with the Gravshifter. It was showing that I was about to get shifted if I enabled or positioned the Gravshifter there. No, I can't. I need the Gravshifter in order to even get to this table. Because, yeah, okay, so I can't do this just yet. Right? I need this so that I can get up here. So I have to position this here. And then I have to bring the accumulator. Except maybe I can... Maybe this is where... I think I want to put the accumulator over here. Because I need to get access to this accumulator at some point. I think for now we actually swap the fan for the jammer. Now I have the jammer. And the jammer... How do I select the force field that's in the back? I want to jam the other force field, right? We want to jam the other force field. We do it like this. That worked. I wasn't sure if that was going to position that on the pressure plate when I let it go. But it did, in fact, work. Now, I need to get the accumulator back. So I think now what I do is I take the Gravshifter. That jammer should stay connected, so to speak, to the force field in the back. And now we can swap out the Gravshifter for the accumulator. Now we just position this here so we can grab a charge, and we stand on the pressure plate. Red has been accumulated. And then now we just need to get the fan back, which we can do pretty easily. We need actually... how do we do this? We have the accumulator and we have a jammer. I don't think I need to be behind any of this stuff now. This part of the puzzle is no longer needed. So I just need to figure out this last little set of swap / gravity flooring. What is the sequence of exchanges here that gets us to the end? I need the fan, but I also need the Gravshifter to get to the table that has the fan. So that means the first thing I need is the Gravshifter, correct? I think I can take... I eventually want to get the accumulator. I don't really need the jammer anymore, so I can afford to put the jammer here. I think the jammer is what I want to swap with the fan, because I want to be able to walk up the wall here and swap out for the accumulator eventually. For now, I get the Gravshifter back and put it next to the hard-to-get-to swap table. And that's what we swap out for the fan. Now the fan goes back over here, and now we take the Gravshifter, which is not needed anymore, go back and swap for the accumulator. Okay, fun little sequence there to walk through. Not too bad, not too tricky. Just got to go through the steps, because now we hook this up and we have a win. Let's go. This has been a fun world. I think I still like the previous world a bit more, but all the puzzles in this game are just really fun. So now the question is, can we solve the Pandora Star? We're going to head back over here now and grab this RGB converter. Now, I have not seen any other equipment, any other pieces of equipment around the level. I can't say that I've looked exhaustively. We'll see if we can find a solution with just this RGB converter. But there might be another piece of equipment that we need. We'll have to keep that in mind, that we might need to explore the other parts of the level. I've been trying to keep an eye out for anything that I see like that. But let's take this converter over here. And the first thing I guess we should test is just see, does it actually connect to the Pandora statue? Is there a connector here to be had? Okay. I feel like this is just some weird little bug. It's clearly flashing. Oh, wait a second. No, it's not. It's on the other side. I was just totally missing the fact that that's what was throwing me off. The receiver is there. It is a green receiver. It's just on a different side. Okay. So, with that knowledge, is there another path? Ooh, okay, there is more to the story. I see an inverter up here. There is something else to find. There's a purple barrier, and there is an inverter behind there, and there is some gravity flooring here. Shit, okay. So, let's carry the converter with us. It feels like we need to make our way around the cliff facing somehow. Maybe from over there, probably. Let's take the converter with us. Here I thought that the game was just not loading the connector in properly. I'm just being a dingus. Not the first time and not the last, I'm sure. So is this the way up? Where are we going? How do we get up to that inverter? Do we need to get up to that inverter? Maybe I don't need to get up to the inverter at all? It feels like we would need to get up there in order to connect the inverter. I think, isn't that how we solve this? We get access to the inverter and we connect it to the red beam here, right? Once we do that, then we have blue as well. And we just connect red and blue to the converter and we're golden. So I just need to find a way up. Oh, of course. We go inside of the puzzle here and we shoot a Gravshifter at this plate. That's got to be it. That's got to be it. Surely there's a spot here where we can see. Oh my God, there it is. This is awesome. I love when stars are like this. These stars have been so much more interesting than the early stages of the game. I love it. I don't think I actually have to take this up with me. Maybe I don't even want to take it up with me. We just head up here. And now jump down here. And we're in. We have our inverter. I think that gets us a solution. Just a little fall damage in the process, but no big deal because we have our Pandora Star. Oh man, I love it. I love it. So good. I was gonna say, where's my star? It takes a minute. Just gotta give it a minute.
The honest philosopher is rewarded with poison. The hypocrite is rewarded with power.
Sometimes it do be that way, and it just ain't fair. Looks like we do have a little more dialogue here with Melville.
Did something break?
I don't think so, but I guess we can ask you about Miranda creating life. What do you think about all that?
Personally, I'd focus on creating things that help human beings. But her desire to spread life seems admirable to me. If most of the universe is dead, not doing anything with all that space seems like a waste.
I think there's a lot about Miranda that is admirable in spirit. And also, who says that all that space out there has to be like put to use, quote unquote? All a matter of perspective, right? Alrighty, I think that is another area complete. Another set of puzzles solved. A great area. Another really good area. I'm liking these areas in the south. And I'm also very excited about another new mechanic in the next area. We got a Tetromino Bridge though to solve first. Which way do we want to go with this? That one, it goes straight into a rock, so we can't do that. None of these starts feel great. But I guess maybe we'll go with... Wait, why can't I do that one? Oh, because it's going into the rock here as well? So I guess oh, I don't think I'd noticed this before, but it actually has a red outline to it when you can't place it. So we can't actually place either of these pieces. We have to go with one of the L shapes. And even then, it has to be faced a certain way. So the first move is forced. So maybe we'll stick with another... I was going to do another L, just rotate it around. And not good enough. Okay, let's back that up. I thought maybe it was just going to fall into place like all the rest, but we got to do just a bit more work. Work, quote unquote. Doesn't really feel like that much work. Really, no Tetromino Bridge has been a lot of work, if we're being honest. I was kind of liking how they started doing the Tetromino Bridges in the megastructure where we were introducing verticality to them. Those seem pretty interesting. Bring some of those out here, why don't you? Let's spice things up a bit with our Tetromino Bridges. I might have backed myself into a corner here. So I can't do that. I don't think I can do that. Let's try you. All right, we might have our first complicated Tetromino Bridge here. I might have started on the wrong foot. Let's go back to the very beginning, and let's look at one of the... Okay, so they can't do that L shape. This one does allow us to build like this. And then let's try the other L to bring us back in this direction. And now we'll try you. And, we're still ending up a bit short. So we're taking too long of a route to this side. We're deviating a little too far outside of where we want to go. So I don't, I'm not sure, but I don't think we want to start with one of the L shapes. We started with the square before. We can't do the T shape, right? No, we can do the T shape. Is that okay? Now can we steer back around with one of the L's? Now we've only gone out. We didn't go as far out this way when we were using the L, so maybe this is all right. Okay. That one was mildly more interesting than the rest. We actually had to think a little bit on a Tetromino puzzle. Look at that. Either way, time to beam up to the mothership. Time to give me my laser. Oh, we got a little more ways to go before we get to the laser. All right. What do we got? Anything around here that's worth noting? Take a quick jog around the block here, but nothing of note? Question mark? This is different. This is a little different. What do we got going on this time?
The philosopher Straton of Stagira had little respect for the gods, and instead placed his faith in Prometheus. Driven by hubris, he asked questions that must not be asked, and revealed secrets that should have remained hidden. It is said that for these offenses, he was put to death by the people of his city. Can you see the folly of his actions?
Curiosity killed the cat, as they say, right? So I've been saying Straton of Stagira wrong, apparently, but habits are hard to break, so I'm probably going to keep saying it that way. What do we want to answer here, though? She didn't make mention of the fact that it sounds like the last Straton audio log definitely made it sound like he is aware of what is going on, which is really fascinating to me. And I want to know when they're going to bring that back up. Who knows? He might even appear in one of these towers for all I know. I mean, one of the key premises that you're being asked to accept is that he asks questions that must not be asked. Who says? Who says that they must not be asked? Reveals secrets that should have remained hidden. Who says they should have remained hidden? Like, it could be a situation very similar to, Galileo. So why don't we go with the folly was not his, it was the people who acted foolishly.
Yet he was the one who broke their laws. Why do you judge them and not him?
Because what if a law is unjust, right? If just because a law is there doesn't mean that it is automatically meant to be followed in every single circumstance. It's important to understand what the purpose of the laws might be. If you don't have full understanding, you can't just automatically assume or say that they are unjust because they are in your way. But when a law is truly unjust, then I think it is more than fair to be broken.
And who is to decide which laws are unjust?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. But I could also point the finger right back at who made the laws in the first place. It all depends. Like, it is really tough to answer without knowing more details to the story. What she's telling us here, that he had little respect for the gods and instead placed his faith in Prometheus. A lot of this feels like it's being told in metaphor, and so you don't really know the details of the law for sure. Why don't we answer that some moral principles are self-evident? See what she says to that.
Those who put Straton to death thought likewise. When he was dead, they applauded themselves for their morality. Consider this as you approach the flame.
Duly noted. Either way, we have another laser. And that is the most important part. Puzzles have been solved, and a beam has been lit. Blue beam time.
Well, that was surprisingly calm, given how aggressive Pandora has been elsewhere. I didn't think she'd even want to talk to you.
I've toyed with the idea that the entities might be epiphenomenal in some way. Instead of causing the changes in the system, maybe they just respond to them.
Boy, what a great, another amazing looking tower and another great zone. I had a lot of fun, as I have been the entire time. This game is great. I've had, there's been, I think, some warts and some blemishes and some things that they could have ironed out a little differently, but I think in general, this has been a great follow-up to the original. And I can't wait to see what is next. Are we once again, it does feel like once again, we're gonna have some sort of inhibitor or some type of new jammer that is going to allow us to deactivate force fields and maybe other equipment. Whatever is the case, we will move on to the next zone and hopefully light the last laser to once again get inside the megastructure and hopefully one step closer to saving Byron. We'll see what happens next time. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.